The Yellow Wall. It was the kind of golden sunshine morning that made you want to wrap your wings around yourself and close your eyes and slowly turn just to soak up as much of that welcome warmth as you could possibly hold. And to top it all off, Mama had just announced that it was time to take a walk along the wall. Well, you never saw 10 chicks get ready for something faster in your life. Cheepity cheep cheep peep peep, they squeaked as they happily bumped and blustered and competed for the one mirror in their one bathroom. Oh, they knew that being ready for the yellow wall walk each day was far more important than getting ready. But they just wanted every yellow feather to be perfect. See, the yellow wall was their happiest place, and some very special things could happen, especially if you yourself are also yellow. After a quick final look over, they spilled out the door toward the gate to the wall, in as much of a beeline as non-bees could be. Don't get too far ahead, was Mama's only caution as they happily skipped and skittered along the sidewalk next to their favorite place to be, the yellow wall. You may wonder, what's the story on this wall? And I would have to say there's not much to tell. We don't know where it came from or when. It seems that it's just always been there. We have no idea how long it is or where it starts or ends. We do know from the chicken scratchings of history that hundreds of generations have grown up within walking distance, and in whose lives this wall has played a particularly primary color role. And did I mention that this wall was yellow? So bright and sunny, almost alive. It was like the surface was an inviting mix of the smell of squeezed lemon and the song of the canary, and the dance of a fire that was cool enough to surf. And surf they did, because if you yourself are also yellow, you could move in and out of the wall as you walked along it. You could swing in and jump from a pineapple puff cloud to a mango shaved ice sliding hill, or you could sidestep your way up for some seasonably succulent hot buttered summer squash on spaghetti. And the tastes and smells and sights and sounds were fresh every single day. But suddenly today, a wind kicks up while the chicks are swinging and jumping and sliding and sidestepping. And that wind swirls so much dirt and dust and debris around the chicks that the debris is all they can see. No fluffy sibs, no mama, not even their dear yellow wall. Like being hit in the face by a dirty, wet newspaper and then peeling it off only to find another paper and then another. To say that panic began to set in would be 2 steps too late. It wasn't till after the first dozen gusts that they could even hear Mama clucking out to them over the wind. "Just stick it to the wall," she cried as she hustled and bustled to corral her confused crew. She grabbed piece after piece of flying debris and showed them how to find the wall and stick it on. And sure enough, every piece just disappeared as soon as it hit the wall, until, just as quickly as it had begun, the swirling suddenly ceased. As they regrouped and recovered on the sidewalk, the chatter was all about the scary wind. "I couldn't see a thing," peeped one. "I got blown off my feet," cheeped another. "What happened?" everybody wondered at once. As her chicks furled their air-fluffed feathers back into shape, Mama began to explain. "When I was just a chicklet, my parents took us to the wall every day, just like we do. And the wall was always our favorite place. But when the wind came, it scared us. We started to wonder if the wall was safe. But my papa always told us, always welcome the wind. The wind is always helping us keep the junk out of our lives. If the wind ever swirls something into your face, stick it to the wall as soon as you can. So that's what I want you to learn today, she finished up. Did the wall go anywhere during the wind? I couldn't see it, but it turned out to be there all along, cheeped one chick. That's right, said Mama. And did anybody see what happened when I stuck something to the wall? It totally disappeared, shouted another. Right again, commended Mama. So the wind and the wall kind of worked together, someone quietly remarked from the back row. Wait, that was me? No way! Everybody laughed as Caroline just recognized her voice from 15 years ago. Yeah, that's back when you were the quiet one, teased her brother Chuck. She threw a couch pillow across the room at him, which, with surprising accuracy for an attorney. What? He defended himself. You have to admit, you have changed a little sis, he said, risking another pillow shot. Everybody hooted in agreement, which sounded odd in a room full of chickens. And she had to admit it was true. Well, I guess we've all changed from those adorable fluffy feather days, Caroline conceded. I definitely heard you panicking in the background, Cedric. I got blown off my feet, Claire mimicked. That brought the house down. Everybody laughed so hard they had to take a minute to recover. Who knew Mama recorded all this on her phone that day, reminisced Celine. She must have recorded every day, hoping the wind would show up, and that day it did. And thus began the great lesson. Chester lifted his wings as if to direct the choir. Always welcome the wind, they all chanted mechanically as a throwback to their father's main memory lesson. You know, I may make fun of it now, but I have to admit, there were lots of times I felt that swirl, confessed Conrad. I feel so blinded and suffocated that I thought I wouldn't make it. But somehow I'd recover from what always felt like a warning, and then I'd just forget about the whole thing. I never would have mentioned this if you hadn't said that, bro. But I felt exactly the same way many times, Chip chimed in. I've been on meds and therapy for years. Anybody else seeing a therapist? No judgment, he asked his sibs. Every wing went up. I am a therapist, and I have one, and a book club, Carmen mused, recognizing the possible overkill. Kind of what I thought. Anybody seeing one that believes in the wind or the wall? No wings on that one. Yeah, me neither, Chip signed off. I can't remember the last time I took a walk along the wall, let alone stuck anything to it, said Caroline, looking back thoughtfully. Not that I ever had anything to stick to it, I just never, remembered, she gently trailed off. Well, I hope you've all had a grand time reminiscing. Mama's voice again rose from the grave. They forgot that the phone had never been turned off, and now she had apparently anticipated pretty well everything that was happening next. So if you're listening to this, it means I've gone through the yellow wall to that great free range in the sky, she laughed at the mental picture. But it also means you've all gotten together for at least one more time in your lives. Take advantage of it, she encouraged them. And I know that even though you all live within walking distance to the yellow wall, not many of you still walk there. So please, bear with your mama for one last time. Walk that wall. Remember the fun. Remember the feelings. Remember the family flock that brought you this far. Walk that wall. Pray for the wind. Help each other pull off that debris and stick it right to the wall. Don't settle for booze or Adderall. Watch that junk just disappear. Walk that wall. Today in the sun, you may still be sad, but you should see me run. Swing in, swing out, sidestep up, shuffle down, be yellow and do stay close. 'Cause when the wind comes up, he'll be clearing some junk, and you don't want to be farther than a wing's length to stick it as soon as you see it. I love you all, so walk that wall, she shouted to a now empty room as they spilled out the door toward the gate to that wall in as much of a beeline as non-bees could be, all laughing and shouting and singing aloud. We welcome the wind. We want to be free.